The message came during what humanity called the Quiet Years, 83 years of peace, 83 years since anyone had truly needed Earth for anything other than trade negotiations. Ambassador Marcus Webb sat in his office on the orbital station above Earth. Most correspondence was routine: trade disputes, border adjustments, standard bureaucratic matters. Then he saw it, a message from the Veshkali. Marcus felt his chest tighten. Every human over 40 knew that name. Most of the younger generation had never heard it. The holographic display showed a Veshkali elder, her four eyes dim with exhaustion. Her silver carapace was cracked and scarred. Her name was Matriarch Sylvan. "To the humans, we do not ask this lightly," she began. "The Korvax Dominion has encircled our system. In 30 days, the Veshkali will cease to exist." Her mandibles trembled. "We know humanity owes us nothing, but we saved your silence once. Now we beg you to break yours." The message ended. Marcus sat in darkness, hands shaking. His grandmother had been one of the 40,000. 200 years ago, the generation ship Infinite Horizon had stumbled into a war between two ancient empires. The Korvax demanded the humans join their side or die. The Tathran Collective made the same demand. Captain Elena Vasquez sent a desperate broadcast pleading for help. No one answered, except the Veshkali. They were a minor species with 3 small cargo vessels. Matriarch Keshna ordered them to approach the Infinite Horizon. When the Korvax demanded explanation, she answered calmly, "They are under Veshkali protection." "You have 3 cargo ships," the Korvax commander laughed. "We have 600 warships. Move aside or be destroyed." Keshna's response was absolute. "Then you will destroy us, but you will not touch them while we live." The Korvax fired a warning shot. Keshna did not move. 3 cargo vessels stood between 42,000 humans and 600 warships. The standoff lasted 4 hours. The galaxy watched, transfixed. Finally, the arbiters intervened, declaring that attacking such moral courage would be cosmic shame. The Korvax reluctantly agreed to let both species leave. Not a single human died. 42,000 lives saved by 3 small ships, and 1 matriarch's courage. Captain Vasquez tried to ask how humanity could repay the debt. Keshna's response was simple. "You owe us nothing. We did what was right." Humanity built their world and prospered. The Veshkali returned to their quiet corner of space, but humanity never forgot. Every Remembrance Day, children learned about Matriarch Keshna. They learned about the 3 cargo ships. They learned about the debt. Now, 200 years later, that species was dying. Marcus opened a channel to the Human Council. "We have to respond. This is not a debate." Council Chair Amara Okonkwo nodded. "The Korvax Dominion is powerful. This is war." 200 years ago, 3 cargo ships faced 600 warships to save us, Marcus replied. "Are we calculating cost now?" The vote was unanimous. Within 6 hours, the Human Defense Fleet received mobilization orders. Within 12 hours, every news network broadcast the story. The younger generation learned the name Veshkali for the first time. Admiral Sarah Kwan stood on the bridge of the EDS Remembrance. 300 ships prepared for jump. 300 ships to answer 3 cargo vessels from 2 centuries ago. 2 centuries ago, a species we'd never met put themselves between us and annihilation. Kwan told her fleet, "Today, they're dying. Today, we answer." The fleet jumped. 300 ships vanished in distorted light. They would arrive in Veshkali space in 2 days. Marcus Webb arrived at the Galactic Council to chaos. Representatives were shouting, demanding explanations. The Korvax ambassador pointed at Marcus with one of his 4 arms. "This is an act of war," the Korvax hissed. "You have no authority to intervene." Marcus walked calmly to the central platform. The Korvax Dominion is deliberately starving the Veshkali, Marcus said. They are committing genocide. Humanity will not allow it. The Veshkali violated trade agreements, the Korvax ambassador argued. They refused to surrender disputed territory. This is a legitimate blockade. Marcus pulled up historical records for the entire chamber to see. 200 years ago, the Veshkali put 3 cargo ships between 42,000 humans and your fleet. They asked for nothing in return. The chamber fell silent. Many had heard rumors of the story. Now they saw the recordings. 3 tiny vessels standing against impossible odds. Today, humanity repays that debt. Marcus continued, any species that attacks those who showed us mercy will face the full force of Earth's military. This is not negotiable. The Korvax ambassador's mandibles clicked angrily. The Council cannot allow individual species to— The Council has no say in this, Marcus interrupted. A dozen species erupted in protest. Marcus waited for silence. When it came, he spoke with quiet certainty. The Veshkali taught us that some debts transcend politics. They taught us that protecting the innocent matters more than power. If the galaxy disagrees, humanity will stand alone. The Nexari ambassador, a crystalline being who had watched silently, suddenly spoke. The Nexari stand with humanity. Another voice joined. The Telhari remember when the Veshkali gave us medical supplies during the plague years, their representative said. We also stand with them. More voices joined. Species after species came forward. Not all of them, but enough. The Korvax ambassador realized he was losing the chamber. He tried to regain control. This sets a dangerous precedent. Species cannot simply— Yes, they can, Marcus said. When genocide is occurring, yes, they can. The vote was called. The blockade was declared an act of aggression. The Korvax were given 48 hours to withdraw. Failure would result in collective military action. Meanwhile, Admiral Kwan's fleet emerged at the edge of Veshkali space. They found the Korvax blockade exactly as described. 72 warships surrounding the planet. The Veshkali had no orbital defenses left. Kwan opened a channel to the Korvax commander. This is Admiral Sarah Kwan of the Human Defense Fleet. You are blockading species under human protection. The Korvax commander appeared on screen, his expression amused. Under human protection, the Veshkali are not your allies. They are more than allies, Kwan replied. They are the reason humanity exists. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. The Korvax commander studied the human fleet. 72 Korvax warships against 300 human vessels. The math was not favorable. The Council has ordered you to withdraw, Kwan added. You have 1 hour. After that, we open fire. The Korvax commander's amusement faded. He had not expected unified galactic response. He had not expected humanity to mobilize so completely. This is not over, he finally said. The Dominion will remember this. So will we, Kwan replied. The Korvax fleet withdrew, 72 warships jumping away in coordinated precision. The blockade was broken. Kwan immediately ordered supply ships forward. Medical teams, food, water, everything the Veshkali needed. Within hours, the first relief reached the surface. Matriarch Sylvan stood in the central plaza of the Veshkali capital. Human shuttles descended from the sky. She watched in silence, her 4 eyes wet. A human officer approached, a young woman with commander's insignia. Matriarch Sylvan, I'm Commander Park. We're here to help. Sylvan's mandibles trembled. You came, she whispered. We didn't know if— Of course we came, Park replied gently. The Veshkali had saved humanity without hesitation. Now humanity returned the favor. Supply lines were established within days. Human engineers began repairing Veshkali infrastructure. Medical teams treated the sick and wounded. Food distribution centers opened across the planet. But Marcus Webb insisted on more. Relief is not enough, he told the Human Council. The Veshkali need to defend themselves. Within weeks, human military advisors arrived. They brought training, equipment, knowledge. The goal was not dependence, but capability. "We're not here to control you," Admiral Kwan explained to Veshkali defense leaders. "We're here to ensure this never happens again. You'll learn to defend yourselves." Young Veshkali enrolled in training programs. Human and Veshkali engineers worked side by side. New defense platforms were constructed around their homeworld. It took 5 years. 5 years of investment, training, rebuilding. The galaxy watched with mixed reactions. Some praised humanity's commitment. Others warned about creating client states. The Korvax simmered with resentment. But at the end of 5 years, the Veshkali had a fleet. Small, but modern and capable. Defense platforms protected their world. More importantly, they had knowledge. Every system, every weapon, every tactic, all taught to Veshkali crews. No dependencies, no control. On the anniversary of their salvation, Matriarch Sylvan invited Ambassador Webb to their homeworld. A ceremony had been planned. Millions of Veshkali attended. A monument stood in the capital plaza. It showed 2 figures, a Veshkali standing beside a human, both looking toward the stars. The inscription read, "They stood for us when we had nothing. We stood for them when they fell. This is the measure of civilization." Matriarch Sylvan spoke to the assembled crowd. 200 years ago, my predecessor made a choice. She put our people between strangers and death. We expected nothing in return. We asked for nothing. We simply did what was right. Then, when our hour came, when we were dying, humanity remembered. She gestured to Marcus Webb. Some debts are sacred. Some bonds transcend time. Today we formalize what both our species already know. She pulled up a holographic document, the Covenant of Remembered Kindness. Any species that provides life-saving aid, expecting nothing, creates an unbreakable bond. An attack on such species is an attack on all who remember. This covenant will be presented to the Galactic Council. May it change how civilizations treat each other. Marcus stood beside her. Humanity will champion this covenant. We will teach the galaxy what the Veshkali taught us. The ceremony ended with both species' children singing together. Human and Veshkali youth, who had grown up learning each other's languages. The future, standing united. 3 months later, the covenant was presented to the Galactic Council. The debate was fierce. Many species supported it. The Korvax opposed it violently. "You cannot legislate morality," their ambassador argued. "You cannot force the galaxy to honor ancient debts." Marcus Webb responded calmly. "You're right. We cannot force anyone to care, but we can ensure consequences for attacking species who demonstrated compassion." The vote took 3 days. When it finally came, the covenant passed. Not unanimously, but decisively. 57 species voted in favor, 23 against, 12 abstained. The galaxy now had formal recognition that some debts were sacred. Acts of selfless compassion created protected status. The web of mutual protection began to grow. Smaller species, those who felt vulnerable, embraced the covenant immediately. If they helped others, they would be helped in return. The galaxy became slightly more cooperative. Not perfect, not utopian, but better. 10 years after the blockade, a human and Veshkali crew served together on a joint exploratory vessel. They were mapping the outer reaches when they encountered a distress call, a colony ship from a species called the Drenth, their engines failing, life support failing. The human captain, Commander Jessica Torres, looked at her Veshkali first officer. His name was Kethril, grandson of matriarch Sylvan. They both knew what had to be done. All power to engines, Torres ordered. We're intercepting. Prepared to transfer life support, resources. Kethril's mandibles clicked in approval. My grandmother would be proud. So would yours. The joint crew worked seamlessly. Within hours, they had stabilized the Drenth colony ship. Food, medical supplies, technical expertise, all provided freely. The Drenth captain, confused and grateful, asked why they helped. Torres smiled. Because 200 years ago, someone taught us to. Because 50 years ago, we learned that lesson again. Because this is what civilizations do. The Drenth captain didn't understand. Torres sent him the historical records. The 3 cargo ships, the blockade, the long chain of kindness stretching across centuries. Watch these, she said. Then decide what kind of species the Drenth want to be. 6 months later, the Drenth approached the Galactic Council. They formally signed the Covenant of Remembered Kindness. The web grew larger. 50 years after the Veshkali crisis, both human and Veshkali populations had grown. Joint colonies existed on 3 worlds. Cultural exchange was seamless. A new generation had grown up knowing both species as family. They spoke both languages. They celebrated both cultures. The original survivors were dying now. Matriarch Sylvan passed away at 147 years old. Marcus Webb's grandmother, Maria Rodriguez, died at 132. Both funerals were attended by thousands from both species. Both were remembered as bridges between worlds. Both were honored as those who never forgot. The Korvax Dominion never attacked the Veshkali again. The humiliation of being forced to withdraw had been educational. They learned that some actions carried consequences beyond military calculation. Other aggressive species took note. The galaxy became more cautious, more respectful of those who showed compassion. 100 years after the blockade, a human historian named Dr. Sarah Chen wrote a comprehensive study. She documented every species that had signed the covenant. She tracked its effects on galactic politics. Her conclusion was simple. The Veshkali taught us that kindness has power. Humanity taught the galaxy that kindness has teeth. Together, we made mercy strategic. The study became required reading in human schools, also in Veshkali schools, and in the schools of 47 other species who had joined the covenant. A new monument was unveiled on Earth. It stood outside the Galactic Embassy in Geneva. The design was identical to the one on the Veshkali homeworld. 2 figures, human and Veshkali, standing together. The inscription read, "They came when we fell. We came when they called. This is civilization." Dr. Chen spoke at the unveiling. Her great-great-grandmother had been Matriarch Keshner's translator. Her great-grandfather had served on the infinite horizon. "My family exists because one being chose courage over safety," she said. "Billions of humans exist because the Veshkali didn't calculate the cost of kindness. We simply remember. And when we remember, we act, not because it's profitable, not because it's strategic, because 200 years ago, someone showed us who we could be." The younger generations listened. Some had never heard the full story. Now they understood why humanity and the Veshkali shared such an unbreakable bond. That night, celebrations occurred on both Earth and the Veshkali homeworld. Simultaneous festivals connected by live feed. Humans and Veshkali celebrating together across light years. Children of both species played the same games, sang the same songs, told the same stories of 3 cargo ships and impossible courage. This was the legacy. Not just that one species saved another, but that both species chose to remember. Both chose to honor the debt. Both chose to teach their children that kindness mattered more than power. The galaxy watched. Some species joined the covenant. Some remained neutral. Some actively opposed it. But no one could deny what humanity and the Veshkali had proven. That remembered kindness could change civilizations. That loyalty across centuries was possible. That the best of us could inspire the best in others. Ambassador Marcus Webb, now 93 years old, gave his final speech to the Galactic Council. His body was failing. His mind remained sharp. "When I was young, my grandmother told me about 3 cargo ships," he began. "She told me about the species that stood between us and annihilation. She made me promise to remember. I kept that promise. Humanity kept that promise. And because we remembered, the Veshkali survived. This is my final message to the galaxy. Remember those who showed you mercy. Remember those who gave when they had nothing to give. Remember, and when their hour comes, stand with them. This is not weakness. This is strength. This is what separates civilization from barbarism." He stepped down from the platform. The chamber erupted in applause. Humans, Veshkali, and dozens of other species, even some who had opposed the covenant. Marcus Webb died 3 months later. His funeral was attended by representatives from 84 species. Matriarch Thorak, Sylvan's successor, gave the eulogy. "This human never forgot," she said simply. "Because of him, we live. May all species find such friends." The story did not end there. It never ends. Each generation must choose whether to remember or forget. Each generation must decide if kindness matters. Humanity and the Veshkali chose to remember. They chose to honor debts that others would dismiss. They chose to teach their children that some bonds are sacred. And in doing so, they changed the galaxy. Not through conquest or force, through the simple act of keeping promises across centuries. 3 cargo ships, 42,000 lives, 200 years of memory. This is the measure of civilization. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the powerful and emotional side of HFY sci-fi, hit that like button and share this story with your fellow sci-fi fans. What did you think of humanity's response when the Veshkali called? Did it give you chills? Let me know your favorite moment in the comments below. If you want more epic tales of loyalty, sacrifice, and humanity proving that kindness has teeth, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We have plenty more galactic drama, ancient bonds, and HFY stories coming your way every single week. Thanks for listening, and until next time, remember, some debts are never forgotten. Keep your eyes on the stars.